Hi, my name is Don. I'm from NowIGetItGolf, and today I'm going to show you the point and pitch pendulum method of putting. I came up with it because I wasn't putting very well, and I actually played with a lot of guys who were pretty good golfers who weren't putting very well either. I played with guys that would get on in regulation almost every hole, and one guy I played with actually got on in regulation almost every hole and only parred 2 holes. So I'm thinking to myself, why is it that people who can hit the ball so well and play golf so well can't putt? And so I thought about putting. What are the 2 things that make a great putt? Keeping the face square to the hole and putting perfectly straight backward or forward in what people call a pendulum motion. So if you can do those 2 things, you're on perfectly flat ground, you will sink your putt 100% of the time. So I thought about the way we putt now, and the way we putt now is actually disastrous for a lot of reasons. But one is your pendulum that you're using is not actually a pendulum. You're putting from 2 points in your shoulder to 1 point in your hands. And that's not a true pendulum. A true pendulum is a point to a point where it'll rock back and forth from 1 point in swing. So what ends up happening is when you putt with the typical pendulum that we use now, you could pull the ball, you can push the ball, you can turn the face. You're trying to equalize 2 separate parts to equal 1, and about 100 to 1,000 things can go wrong when you do that. And I think what separates the pros from the amateurs is that the pros have figured out a way to minimize all those errors that can happen. Whereas an amateur, you go out once a week, once a month, whatever, there's no way you're gonna fix that. You're just gonna be a mess. So the pros actually, over the years, have come up with a bunch of ways to minimize these errors. I mean, you've seen them before. You've got your belly putter trying to make perfect pendulum this way. You have your huge putter that comes up here trying to make a pendulum this way. You got guys doing the claw. They're trying to minimize the face from turning. They're trying to do all these things. And you know what? None of them are very practical. None of them feel comfortable. None of them work. So I thought to myself, what if I designed a way to putt that was incredibly simple, but actually utilized the pendulum? And so I did that. So I said, okay, let's build it around the pendulum. So the first thing I did was I went up to the ball and put the club straight underneath my arm. Because if you think about it, you actually have 2 pendulums in your body, this and this, but not the 2 of them together. So we're going to make 1 pendulum. We're going to use it with our forward hand. If you're a righty, it's going to be your left arm. And what we're going to do is we're going to square the club behind the ball to the hole. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2 now, you still have a huge problem, and the huge problem is your center of gravity is here. You don't want your center of gravity to be here. You want your center of gravity to be directly over the pendulum. So after trying a lot of things, I found that the best way to do it, just point your toe. And the reason point your toe is the best is if you stay flat-footed and lean, you're bound to let that gravity shift. If you point your toe, it accomplishes a bunch of things. It lengthens your leg, so it makes leaning to one side easier and more comfortable. If you move your foot back a little, it stabilizes you this way as well as this way. And now, if you look at it, right, your club's out here, you have a pendulum. You actually have a pendulum, okay? So now we've got one part of the equation solved. Next thing we have to do is we have to figure out what to do with our right hand. So if you think about it, when you're in sports, you use your big muscles, your back, your shoulders, all these other muscles. If you're playing baseball, for example, you're throwing from center field to home plate, you wind up your whole body and you throw like this. But when we're putting, we're close to the hole, we want to use our small muscles. If you look at a basketball, if you look at actually a baseball player again, second baseman catches the ball, first baseman's 10 feet away from him, he flicks it, right? And he doesn't use his whole arm. He uses his wrist, his fingers, and maybe his forearm. Same thing with a basketball player. Next to the net, we're just using very delicate movements because we're close to the ball. We're not going all the way back. So think about pitching a penny. If you were to pitch a penny to me and I was just, whatever I am, 10, 12 feet away, you wouldn't wind up to throw it. You wouldn't move your arm back. You'd pull your arm in front of you and you would just go like this, because we want to use delicate movements when we're close. If you're throwing a dart, you don't throw a dart like this at a dartboard. You put it in front and you go like this. So we're going to do that with our right hand. We're going to make our pendulum, and then we're just going to bring our right hand to our pendulum. Now we have a center of gravity, we have a straight line, we have a pendulum, and now we're going to, our pitching motion that would have been this way, now we're going to take our pitching motion and we're going to just move our arm this way to pitch. And if you think about it, if you have your pendulum and you have your pitching motion, you have your point where the pendulum's coming from, and you have your pitching motions. So you're going to pitch your penny this way, and you're going to use your pendulum this way. Couple of quick tips before I show you how to actually do this. So you want to line up. You can just stand there with the ball. I'll do that. I'll get in front of a hole like this. just point the club face directly at the hole, get into my pendulum, and then the next thing I'll do is I'll bring my hand to the club. Now, your left hand has one job and one job only. Maintain whatever this is. We don't want to bend forward, we don't want to bend back. Whatever you make with your left hand, you just want to leave it there. And our right hand, we need to bring it to the pendulum. We don't want the right hand to pull it back, we don't want to pull it forward. We don't want our arms bent. If you Google a picture of a pendulum, not only will you not see 2 points to 1 point to make a pendulum, you won't see a pendulum that looks like this. It's straight. We want to maintain that straight line. And maintaining one straight line makes putting so much easier. I've probably dropped 6 or 7 strokes. Making a lot more birdies now, up and downs all over the place. I had a round the other day. I was playing terrible. I probably made 6 or 7 up, one putt, 6 or 7 holes. And it's made a huge difference. Every ball tracks right to the hole, so the really only worry that you're going to have at this point is getting the correct speed. So, okay, so we set up, we bring our hand to a hole. We're going to take it back, and we're just going to hit it straight to the hole. And it's just going to go right in the hole. And I got to tell you, these balls track to the hole every single time. When I miss, I've been hitting the hole, I've been burning the edges, I've been second putting from 6 inches, 5 inches. It's been incredible. I'll show you that again. We're going to line up, we're going to straighten the arm, we're going to bring our arm to the hole, and we're going to hit the ball right to the hole. You guys need to try this. It's been incredible for me. What I will do is I will widen out the camera, and I'll just putt around the green just to show you guys. I mean, I've been dropping 17, 18 foot putts like they're nothing. Every putt tracks directly to the hole. When I miss, it's either right in front of the hole or right behind the hole. It's made putting incredibly easy for me. I used to be scared to putt, have a 15 footer or something and just hope to keep it 8 feet from the hole. I was a mess. And now, if I get up to an 18, 19 foot putt and I miss it by more than a foot, I get angry. I expect to make every putt. I'm not afraid of any putts. So I'd like you to try this. Go out, work with it a little bit. It's gonna feel really weird at first. But after you do it for a little while, you are going to be feeling normal. Now when I get up to a putt and I go like this and like this, if you're not sure if you're in the correct position, you should almost be making an X. This leg should be out here. This arm should be here. We're working for the pendulum. We want to keep the pendulum straight. That is the main goal of this. Okay, so let's continue here. I told you I'd putt around the green and just show you some stuff. We're going to look at a bunch of putts. First putt's about a 5 footer. That goes in. Same thing. These 5 footers are pretty easy. This one is a couple inches short. But point and pitch, it's pretty good. It's pretty accurate. And like I said, it gets you close to the hole. When Phil Mickelson does his short game tape, he says, if you get within 3 feet of the hole, you can consider a successful putt. And I think with point and pitch, I usually shoot to get within 2 feet. That left about a foot away. The nice thing about point and pitch is you can put the ball where you want to put it. So as you can see, I missed the first one, but I made the second one. I'm just putting quickly around the greens here, not really looking too closely at the break, which when you're putting is probably not the best idea in the world. But you're able to make subtle enough adjustments with point and pitch where you can actually put the ball exactly where you want to. Here's another example. I mean, that's just right on the edge. That's an inch or so away. This putt is probably about 15 feet. The last one was probably closer to 20. 2 really great putts there. Those are both tap-ins. This is about another 20 footer downhill, and inches from the hole. The speed was a little off, and that seems, compared to all these other putts that are right next to the hole, like it missed by a bunch, but that was about a foot. This putt coming up here was the most difficult putt. There was a huge left to right break that I didn't really account for when I putt, and that first putt was about 3 feet, 3.5 feet from the hole. But after seeing the second putt, the speed was a little too much. But as you can see, it ended right in line with the hole, and it was about a foot past the hole. So that was about a 25 footer. Another 25 footer, that putt right on line, just not enough juice. It's uphill a little bit, But again, right in line. Now, the ball, since the ball was right on line, I actually had to put a little to the right of the ball so as not to hit it, the previous ball. And, you know, I ended up with 2 putts that were about a foot away. There's one, it drops in. Another putt coming up here. I think if I remember correctly, it was off by an inch or 2. Yeah, I mean, that goes right up to the hole. As you can see, all these putts are really, really good putts. I mean, they're just, you never have to worry about making the second putt because it's a tap in. Now, this was the longest putt of the day. It was about a 40-footer. It is downhill, and it does slope to the left. And I think these were the 2 worst putts of the round. But you know what the beauty of point and pitch is? Even if you don't hit a great putt, and when I say it's not a great putt, I mean still within 3 feet of the hole. I mean, by my standards, I don't think it's a very good putt. By Mickelson's standards, these are perfectly acceptable putts. You know, point and pitch is so reliable that it's not that big a deal if that happens, because, and there, another one just dropping in the hole, because when you walk up to a 3 or 4 or 5 foot putt now, you know it's going in. So even if you should hit a bad putt, you're not too worried about it. Again, another putt just inches from the hole. So, you know, look, I mean, it's a great way to putt, and there's not, you know, look, I'm not a professional golfer. I don't claim to be. I'm a kind of a weekend warrior, just like most people out there are. And to be able to come up with a system like this that gets me so close that putt actually hits the hole and goes left, I think is pretty amazing that you can get this kind of success inches from the hole again, and that's where we stop. Hey everybody, it's Don from NowIGetItGolf, and I want to talk to you about short putts. When we talked about point and pitch, we didn't talk about short putts, and actually taking the club back in general. I think it's good to talk about, because a lot of people take the club back, in my opinion, too far. If you're this close to the ball, you do not need to take the club back this far. It's going to lead to a lot of bad things. One, the club face can turn. You know, your swing path can change. And 2, if you miss and you take the club back this far, the ball is going to go way past the hole. Whereas if you take the club back short, the club face is going to stay straight. Your club's going to stay square to the ball. And if you miss, made that, but if you miss, the ball at worst is going to go a foot or 2 past the hole. So let's talk about taking club back in terms of point and pitch. So same thing, and this is what's great about point and pitch. It forces you to do a couple things. It forces you to only take the club back the short way, but it also forces you to swing through the ball, because even when you're putting from far away, if you only take the club back short, you're going to have to follow through. And you're a lot better off extending the follow through than you are extending the backswing. When you extend the backswing, you decelerate, bad. Club face can change, angle, bad. When you take it back short, you are going to, let's get point and pitch here, you are going to swing through the ball, you're going to accelerate into the ball, and you're not going to have any problems. Look, when you take the club back this far, it's very difficult now for me to change the angle of the face. I mean, I am right on top of the ball. It's also difficult for me to decelerate into the ball, because if I decelerate into the ball from here, the ball's only going to go a foot or 2. So, my personal opinion on putting, and I think a lot of people hold this opinion, only take the club back as far as you need. If you're a foot from the hole, you know, you'll see guys tap in, right? When they tap in, they don't go like this. Well, I don't know what changes with people when you bring back the ball only another foot, but all of a sudden people feel like they need to go like this. This is a tap in. Tap it in. Don't take the club far back. So this is one of the, I think, another factor of point and pitch that makes it a strong method of putting. One is that it does kind of force you to only take the club back as far as you need the club to go. The other thing that's nice about point and pitch, actually, that I didn't mention the other day, the ball gets out in front of you. And the beauty of that is it makes your head look this way. And whenever I'm putting, as I'm putting and looking down my ball, I can actually see the hole. And I can't even tell you the value of that. You know, there's some people, I don't know if it's true or not, it probably is, but saying that Jordan Spieth, I think it was Jordan Spieth, actually looks at the hole sometimes when he puts. you know, when you think about a lot of things that you do in life, a lot of sports and stuff, you're looking at your target. So what point and pitch allows you to do is it allows you to take a short backswing. It's all you need, right? You're going to accelerate through the ball. You know, short backswing, good. Accelerate, good. Your club face, if you're only taking it back this far, is going to stay straight, good. And extra added super bonus, which is maybe even another reason why I think I make so many putts now, I can see where I'm putting. When I'm looking down at the ball, it's in my sight. As a matter of fact, from here I can see. You know, if you're doing a regular putting stance and you're here and you're concentrating, you're down at the ball, you know, you can still see it at the corner of your eye. But when you're point and pitch, all your body, your momentum, your head, everything is turned towards the hole. So, short putts, short backswing. Short backswing enables you to keep a square face. It enables you to accelerate through the ball. All good things. And if you miss the hole, you take a short backswing, the ball isn't going to sail past the hole. You know, hopefully you just have it tapping in the other direction. So that is my 2 cents on short putts. And until next time, thanks everybody.